Shield or 2 of, floating spells like Feeling of Dread, something like that. Eric Permenter, though, is actually just going 37 creatures, 23 land.
Wow.
Which is really a crazy move. To still be in contention with a mono creature deck is really impressive.
Right, and so Mark will certainly the control deck here, and Mark's gonna, I think he's really well positioned. He's overloaded on removal. So going over what we should see from him is 2 Ultimate Price, 2 Sever, 2 Mizium Mortars, 2 Bonfire, 2 Dreadbore, and 2 Pillar.
Yeah, that's just so much removal at all points of the curve, too, which is key against a deck like Eric's.
So Permenter, as his turn 1 champion of the parish, he's going to try to quickly get that champion to distance itself size-wise, and a second double champion draw, counter on the first champion.
Wow.
He wants to get that out of Pillar of Flame range as soon as possible.
Yeah, he would love another human here, but instead he'll have to settle for a War Falcon. Still a great draw. Triple 1-drop is just amazing. So Eric Permenter, he has all the usual suspects at 1-2 mana. His 3s are Fiend Hunter, he has 4 Liev Sky Knight, he has 4 Silverblade Paladin, 4 Geist. So quite a few 3-drops in his deck.
All right. Wow, I'm really just exploding out of the gates here. Remember, there's no actual sweeper. I mean, I suppose Castillo could on this next turn make a just Bonfire for 1. It'd be pretty good if he had it in his hand. It'd probably be a play.
Yeah. Mizium Mortars is really what Marc Castillo is trying to survive till his next turn. If he goes any acceleration spell on the next turn, he'll be in good shape. But he doesn't even have any red mana right now. His mana base, it looks like, oh no, that's a mountain. Mountain, 2 Overgrown Tombs. Ships the turn to Eric, who just has...
And a Perimeter Captain. That's going to pump both champions of the parish. Marc needed a faster hand here, I think.
Yeah. He also didn't have the luxury of knowing what he was playing against.
Right. I'm not saying that this was his fault, but,
right.
And so he has Olivia Voldaren as his play here. Blood Crypt's going to come into play. Shock him, put him to 9. It's going to sever both the champions.
That's pretty good. So he's at 9 life, but all he's going to take next turn is 4, falling to 5.
Yeah, and it looks like that's a Rakdos' Return in his hand. He has 3 in the main deck. Not a good card for this matchup at all.
Eric at this point just has lands and whatever spell he draws for his turn.
Right.
And it looks like he drew a Thalia, so that's a great draw for Eric. That's going to really put even more pressure on Marc. And he's representing lethal through 1 creature, so Olivia won't do it. It'll have to be Huntmaster. Marc Castillo down to 5.
And post-combat, we're going to see a Thalia. Thalia there actually will prevent the Bonfire for 2 were Marc to have it. But he's drawn, did he draw the Thragtusk?
He had the Thragtusk, he didn't have the 5th land.
All right, so very fortunate 5th draw. That one, once again, that 5/3 is just so good. He's going to go with Huntmaster the Fellas instead.
Yep, he'll go up to 7. So he won't die from this attack, but he will have to block with at least a wolf. He'll probably block with both his creatures.
Yeah, if he blocks with both his creatures, he can take... Well, it depends on how much he wants to chump versus... Alright, so the swing here, remember, the War Falcon will deal 2. If Perimeter Captain hits, it's going to make another Soldier token. He can kill it for the price of both his creatures, if he puts them both, and I think that's what he's going to do, both double block on Perimeter Captain.
Yep.
So, the real the Huntmaster gets taken down, the Wolf will survive, and Castillo's going to drop the 2.
Yep. Now, unfortunately for Eric, he doesn't have anything to add to the board this turn. He's flooded on land. I think he's drawn more land than spells this game. He's still gotten his opponent to 2, though.
Yeah.
And there's the Tusk. Marc up to 7.
And Thragtusk, just 5, such a big number. That guy really, I think, without a doubt, the defining card in the tournament.
Yeah, no doubt. And here's a Fiend Hunter. That'll take out the Thragtusk, but not before a Beast comes into play. And this attack will drop Marc to 5.
So Marc's going to have to find an answer to this flyer. Once he does, then he just needs to he has an Olivia in his hand that should be able to mop up the mess.
Yeah, and there it is.
There it is. So that's going to immediately answer War Falcon and presumably will answer Fiend Hunter in short order. The draw from Eric Permenter, so he just needs to find a way to sneak 5 more damage. He really hopes to get a Feeling of Dread here. He doesn't play right. He's on no spells, right? It's just creatures.
Not a single spell in his deck. So he drew one of the spell creatures in his deck in the form of Liev Sky Knight. but I don't think it's going to be enough here.
We've got to try for it. It's the best, I think I agree with you. It probably is not enough.
But some sequence of plays involving Geist of St. Traft, Silverblade Paladin might be able to sneak in these last few life points.
Olivia becomes detained, but not until she has a chance to shock War Falcon off the table.
Right.
Not any good attacks. He can't actually attack with Marc Castillo is going to scoop up the game. There's no way he can win it.
Yeah, just scoops him up. He knows that his Fiend Hunter not long for this world.
So Marc Castillo wins the first game. Gets down to 2, stabilizes thanks to Thragtusk, able to pull back in on the win.
Yeah, just these life gain creatures in Standard right now are so strong. Huntmaster and Thragtusk just gain so much and prevent so much damage. It's really impressive. Something like Fiend Hunter, usually a hard answer, is not against these creatures. So the players will go to their sideboards. Eric does have some actual spells in his sideboard. He doesn't have 15 creatures in the board. He has Rest in Peace, Feeling of Dread, Fiend Hunter, Negate, Erase, Elite Inquisitors, and Thalia, Guardian of Throbbing.
There's not too much you can do. Fiend Hunter is probably his best option, I think. I mean, because the way that Jund stabilizes is with these threats like Olivia, with Thragtusk, more pseudo spells, I think, is what he wants to do.
Yeah, I think if I were Eric, I would side in 2 Feeling of Dread, 2 Fiend Hunter, and maybe the extra Thalia, but that's it. I definitely wouldn't bring in Rest in Peace, definitely wouldn't bring in Negate or Erase. Those aren't going to help him win. He can probably shave some of his weaker creatures in the matchup, just some of the things that don't match up as well. Off the top of my head, maybe something like Silverblade Paladin. That's pretty good. It's part of his combo nut draw. With Champion of the Parish, it's just very, very strong. I'm not sure what to side out in this white weenie deck here.
Well, I think what he wants to do is, in this matchup, is rather interesting when we're talking about what to side out. I suppose I'm not positive. When I look at it, I would probably try to side out cards like Precinct Captain. I think I want cards that either hit hard or give me utility, and Precinct Captain doesn't do either. He makes 1/1s, but I just don't think they're very relevant in this matchup. If Jund is stabilizing, I think it's stabilizing through the 1/1s. So you're essentially just like paying for a 2/2 first striker. I think he can do better.
That's really all it is. I mean, it's just to occupy the spot in the curve, which makes it really hard to cut. I think that if he sides that out for anything, it'll be the Elite Inquisitor, protection from the Huntmaster, for example. I feel like we'll just see him shave a few cards here, maybe like 1 Silverblade Paladin, things like that. Maybe 1 Precinct Captain, but I really think he has to keep his curve intact. Marc Castillo, on the other hand, has a lot more options. He has things ranging from Rolling Temblor, which I'm sure we'll see, because if it's not in here for this matchup, what matchup is it for? So we'll see Rolling Temblor, we'll see Abrupt Decay, Dreadbore, Bonfire, we'll see Liliana of the Veil maybe even, Deathrite Shaman is possible. He has a real lot of sideboard cards.
Yeah, so it's just that extra Bonfire, just more removal, and Castillo, remember, he's already a removal-heavy Jund midrange deck. I think it's very bad for Eric that he didn't get the first game here. He was on the play against a removal heavy Jund deck, and didn't get the win. This is going to be hard for him.
Right. Even if he wins this game, he'll have to win a game 3 on the draw, which is very tough. Marc has a lot of cards, has a decent number of cards to side out. The Underworld Connection, the Rakdos' Returns, those will be easy side outs. Maybe something like a Rakdos Keyrune, since he's cutting his X spells, maybe even 2 Rakdos Keyrune. Garruk Primal Hunter, he'll shave the expensive cards that don't do what he wants to do, which is just survive.
Right.
So I imagine we'll see some combination of those taken out. He doesn't need the acceleration from the Keyrune. He'll just want to cast removal on turns 1 through 4 and then play a Thragtusk or a Huntmaster. So Eric's mana base, he actually has 23 lands in his deck, which I suppose he has to have that many, but it's really just a shame that there aren't enough low drop humans and creatures to make this like a 21 land deck.
Permenter's deck. Really, so it's Champion of the Parish is the ideal 1-drop. And when you dive into green, you get Avacyn's Pilgrim, who's a close second. But otherwise, that's why I think we're seeing things like War Falcon.
Right. He has to have a 1-drop.
You need something.
Doom Traveler is just not that good anymore.
especially with decks where you have no spells, the all creature decks, you live for those hands of one drop, one drop, one drop. Those are, you know, which he had last game, which unfortunately wasn't enough. But those, you know, those are your free wins in a lot of matchups.
Right.
So you really hope to be able to do it. So
Yeah, and if not for Sever the Bloodline, of which there are only 2 in Eric Castillo's deck, he would have lost that game.
Right. So it's unfortunate that didn't get there, but you know, so I think that's how we're seeing War Falcon. War Falcon's pretty serviceable. It's a flying elite vanguard for the most part in his deck. It's rare that it can't attack on the turns it really needs to.
Exactly. It's not like if your only 1-drop is War Falcon and you can't activate it on the second turn, you shouldn't be keeping that hand. So that's kind of a knock against it, because you can say it'll make you mulligan more often, but I don't even think that's the case. If your War Falcon hands can't attack, you should probably mulligan anyway. So it looks like the players have drawn their 7 and trying to decide whether to keep. And they'll both send it back.
Alright, so 6 on 6, keeping it fair.
I don't think we've seen this all day today. We've seen very, very few mulligans.
Yeah, it was actually, very few mulligans today, which has been good, you know, letting the decks battle for the most part.
Yeah, that's always fun. You don't want to watch a round that's mull to 5, get crushed, mull to 5, get crushed. That's not fun for anybody. Not even the one that wins.
Alright, so just to run down on some of the decks that we already have in the top 8. We have a green-white humans deck that's being piloted by David Coons. We have Adam Prosak, and he's playing a 3-color tempo deck. We also believe Jacob Baugh is probably in the top 8. He's on a Bant deck. It's on a no Planeswalkers Bant deck.
Planeswalkerless Bant.
Yeah, so a lot of these are different. What I think is really interesting is perhaps we have, and I think this comes from the fact that these decks are very modular. They're good cards decks. We have some archetypes, you know, but the decks inside those archetypes are fairly different. I mean, there's some standards. You know, 4th Ragtosk is pretty much standard in all of them. But even in contention, we have one Bant list that has 4th Ragtusk's no Restoration Angels.
Right, which I would never have guessed that going into the
No,
tournament.
I mean, yeah, you look at that and you say, well, why aren't we playing, you know, Restoration Angels? But no, there's just a lot of different builds for all of these. You know, it's one of those things. I think as the format grows more, these will start to boil down to very specific decks. You know, okay, this is the way to build it.
Of course, but that format takes a lot of time to get to that point. It's only when a format has a lot of time to develop, gets stagnant, that ever really happens. And
right,
you know, in recent memory, we've only seen that, I think, once in recent memory during Cobblade. That's really the only time we've seen a format truly stagnate.
Go down to one deck. Well, even then, there was a lot of variation inside Cobblade.
Right.
Which, okay, I know. Before I start to sound like I'm a Cobblade defender here. Yeah, certainly it wasn't ideal, but...
So here we go. Players dealing out their 6 right now. Eric Permenter on the left will be on the play. Marc Castillo on the right on the draw. And Eric's keeping. He looks intense. He looks like he wants to win this game.
Yeah. All right, he's got the turn 1 champion. He has a 2nd land, a Silverblade Paladin, and a Feeling of Dread. That's got to be pretty close to what he wants.
Oh yeah, definitely. He would. Oh, and that's not what he wants to see. Turn 1 Pillar takes out a ton of damage from Eric Permenter.
Yeah, that's great.
And Eric just drawing more land. That's not what he needs. So far, his draw more lands than spells. Okay, so this isn't unreasonable. He has turn 3 Silverblade Paladin, threatening turn 4 Sublime Archangel for a boatload of damage. That'd be 8 if that works. Just another pillar, though. Marc Castillo really has these cheap removal spells when he needs them. Just dealing with each of the threats as they come.
All right, Sublime Archangel. So Permenter is gonna have to go. He's going big here. Going big toe to toe with Jund is pretty scary. Yeah, and that's why.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember Permenter with Fiend Hunter is only. Wow, did he draw the Fiend Hunter?
Drew it.
I was gonna say Fiend Hunter is the only removal spell. He's gonna detain it. Now remember, that's even on. That means Olivia's gonna get a chance to shoot the Lie of Sky Knight. Not as thrilled about that play.
Yeah, not sure I like it. Now, if it took Marc Castillo 2 shoots to kill the Lee of Sky Knight, I would like it a lot more, because that takes up his entire turn.
Right.
But 1 shoot, he can now play another spell.
Yeah, so Castillo took 5 on that attack. That put him to 13. Or took 6, sorry. Yeah, everything has exalted.
So Geist of St. Traff drawn for Eric.
Wow, and Eric's drawing his way out of this. So yeah, Olivia about to go away quickly. Yeah, it's gotta take down the live Sky Knight.
For sure.
Yeah, so I mean that play last turn, I think really probably not what he wanted to be doing.
Yeah, it plays around another Olivia really well.
Right.
But that's about it.
Well, the problem is the second, you don't have an answer for the second Olivia anyway. Unless you actually are planning to try to just keep it on the board and win through it, but that's
hard to
suspect.
do.
That's hard. All right, and actually, Castillo's not going to shoot live Sky Knight.
Wow. So maybe he has a removal spell for his Fiend Hunter. And he'll say attack phase. Abrupt Decay.
All right, that's rough. And then, yeah, okay, here we go. We're up to shoot it.
Now all of a sudden, Sublime Archangel trades with Olivia Valdarn.
I mean, if you're Permenter, you have to offer that trade anyway.
Of course. With just a Geist of St. Traff and a Feeling of Dread.
Yeah, you have to offer that trade anyway, and you have to really hope that Castillo does not have a 6th land. That 6th land, Castillo will just untap, slam it, and then eat. And he's going to trade.
Yeah, there's the block. Marc Castillo certainly has another Olivia.
Yeah, otherwise that doesn't make sense if he doesn't. And yeah, there we're going to see Ms. Valdarn.
Oh, 2 Valdarns.
Returning to the Huntmaster in Valdarn, but either way, Castillo, a great anti. And you see like that double pillar Abrupt Decay. This removal heavy John just so good against blue-white humans.
Yeah, and that is just a great draw for Marc Castillo. Exactly what he wants in the matchup. Eric Permenter telling his opponent he hasn't played much Magic recently. Understandable.
Yeah. Geist of St. Traff comes down, but that's not gonna. I mean, it bounces off the Wolf token. Because I think all over, but the cleanup here for Castillo.
Eric down to 16, and there's another Huntmaster. Wow, just the gold spells keep coming for Marc Castillo. He had the removal on the early turns when you needed it, and the creatures on the late turns. Really just showing the power of the Jund deck here.
Right.
And Eric, with only a Silverblade Paladin, can deal 8 right here. He can Feeling of Dread plus Silverblade. That'll be all he has. And he'll pair that. Feeling of Dread, get in for 8.
And that. All right, he's gonna. Yep.
Oh, nice. He pairs the 4/4 Angel token with the Silverblade Paladin. That's a heads-up play.
Puts him into 10, puts Marc Castillo down to 6. Problem here is what happens when Marc just says no.
Right. Only has 1 Feeling of Dread available. Well, if Marc just says go, he can repair, can he, with the Angel token? And flip the Huntmaster.
Okay, so yeah, so you can flip the Huntmaster. So actually, it's kind of interesting. I suppose maybe I spoke too soon here. Marc Castillo is going to have to be careful. He certainly has an advantage on the board. He has one, he's going to pass turn.
Adam Prosak, please report.
He's going to flip. They're both going to target Silverblade Paladin. Permenter only takes 2 there, then I believe, unless it's a double targeting ability.
I'm pretty sure it's creature target player because you can shock him when there's no.
It's a double target. So Permenter will take 4 then, and drop to 10. Right, so he does have the ability that Angel token can, barring a kill spell, can put Marc Castillo to 2. Now the worry is that what he'd want to have is a Moorland Haunt token, so maybe finish it off. He can't. The biggest worry is that if Marc Castillo is able to play 2 spells at any point, before he's dead, the game's over.
Right, then it's just over. But he has to go for it. He has to attack with that Geist, get in the 4 while he still can, and make a Haunt token. I don't see any other way around it.
He really wishes he could Feeling of Dread twice on Castillo's guys, but that'll
he only has 1 Feeling of Dread.
Does he have one?
Left.
Is it in his hand?
No, it's in the graveyard right now.
Okay, he only has half a Feeling of Dread, so he can't just go for it here.
No, I'm pretty sure his line is get in for 4, Feeling of Dread your 2 4/4s, and hope he rips away to enhance the Moorland Haunt token. Now,
so what would those be? Because remember, it would be a Silverblade Paladin?
A Silverblade Paladin, a Sublime Archangel, and I think and a Knight of Glory. That's it.
That's pretty good. That's enough outs to take that's not an unreasonable line if that's the one he has to play.
No, I mean, he still has a good number of outs, like 11 outs, something like that, and At this spot in the game, facing down 2 4/4 Huntmasters, or rather Ravagers, 2 Wolves, that's...
2 Ravager of the Fells.
his only
Absolutely.
play.
Yeah, I mean, actually, he's dead on the swing next turn. Remember, the Ravager of the Fells trample, so he can't even chump block. You know, he's dead to Marc Castillo turning almost creatures sideways.
Right, so he's locked into Feeling of Dreading. He has to Feeling of Dread.
Yeah. He's going to have to use Feeling of Dread.
So now if you're Eric, yeah, exactly. You just have to ask, how can I win?
Yeah, Eric, on his face, clearly not happy about this line. Castillo will, yeah, okay, just go to drop to 2. Eating Geist to St. Trapped.
Launch party.
Well, a second Geist to St. Trapped would be very sweet here.
Oh, yeah, that's a good draw, too.
Fiend Hunter.
Okay.
Almost.
That's a reasonable draw.
Yeah.
I think I like Moreland Haunt token better than Fiend Hunter, though.
I think I do, too. It's very close. Yeah, I think I do prefer that line. And another Olivia, Mizium Mortars. I think he mortars the Fiend Hunter.
Right, and
Just could you gain your 2 life again.
exactly.
And Castillo agrees. He's going to go back up to 4 life. He's going to be able to swing for 8. He's going to drop Permenter to 2. That should take care of it.
Now, of course, all this was a moot point because Marc Castillo had the Olivia Valdarn in his hand.
Oh, and I think he also has a Pillar of Flame, doesn't he?
Yeah, he has a freshly drawn red spell. I don't know what that is.
So yeah, he'll attack Permenters down to 2. Yeah, the freshly drawn Olivia is very strong, and he'll just say go. So not the Pillar. I think that must have been the Mortars, but does Permenter? I don't think he doesn't have anything with haste here. I believe he's drawing dead. He didn't even Feeling of Dread there.
No.
I think you could see the resignation. He knows the score here.
There are not many white creatures with haste, and none in standard. Eric Permenter has 1 play left, and that's to extend the hand.
Now, the sad thing is if he drew Knight of Glory here, the other play actually wins. The Haunting, because he can do it on end step. It avoids Mizium Mortars.
Yeah, he can still block with his Olivia, though, so...
Which he didn't cast.
Right, which
Well, you mean he
would've
may have cast.
Yeah.
Well, you'd have Knight of Glory and Fiend Hunter.
Oh, and the Fiend Hunter. That's
You'd have
right,
the Fiend Hunter.
Yeah, he would have the Fiend Hunter.
I don't mean this is all moot. This is all if he drew the Knight of Glory, but I think he'd have a play, and that's going to be it. Marc Castillo into the top 8, defeats Eric Permenter 2-0. You can see the smiles on his face there. Pretty excited about it.
Yeah, it's always nice. Always nice to just breathe a sigh of relief, take a little break after a high pressure match.
All right, so Marc Castillo, our 5th